Stillwater, which was written and directed by Tom McCarthy, who helmed the film Spotlight from a couple years ago. And Stillwater stars Matt Damon as father, Bill Baker, and Abigail Breslin, I believe her last name is. And Stillwater is essentially a film about Bill Baker's daughter being imprisoned in France, and he basically does everything he can to get her out of prison. Now, usually I go into a film at theaters or on HBO Max, wherever I can get it first. Usually I go into a film completely cold, meaning I know little to absolutely nothing about the film, and I think that's the best way to go about critiquing films. Unfortunately, with Stillwater, thanks to YouTube ads, I watched trailer after trailer of Stillwater, so I went in expecting Stillwater to be basically what I just said as the synopsis for the story of Stillwater. And the trailers of Stillwater made it seem like if he couldn't legally get her out, he was going to find some way to break her out. And little bit of a spoiler here, that's not the case. This is, just like Spotlight, a very story and character driven film. It's basically a father who is trying desperately to connect with his daughter, not even reconnect with her, but because he has a bad past, he was an addict in all sorts of ways, and in her upbringing, they just never really got along, and now he's just finally sober and trying to connect with her while she's in prison, and she doesn't really have anybody else to rely on anymore. So he basically relocates to a whole different country, trying to do everything he can to help with her legal troubles, to try and get her out of the prison. And why she's in prison is basically she is in prison for murdering her girlfriend one night 5 years ago. And this film, I would say, as a critic, I would say that Stillwater is best off broken off into 3 or 4 parts throughout the film. It's kind of like a revenge tale, and then it's a character study, and then it's a redemption, and then it's kind of just a succession, a moving on kind of part. And if you go into Stillwater expecting something like Taken, you're going to be majorly disappointed. Halfway through Stillwater, I honestly I started feeling really strong vibes, and I instantly, halfway through it, just started thinking about the Denis Villeneuve, Hugh Jackman film Prisoners. And that's one of my all-time favorite thriller films, Prisoners. And that's a really good thing. Stillwater, I loved the film, but I think that the trailers of Stillwater have done a very big disservice to it, because they kind of only lay out one aspect of the film. This is a very multi-layered and complex film, and above all, it's a character study. It's not a revenge film, it's not an actioneer or anything like that. This is a very slow pace, slow burn character drama. And by the end of the film, you care about everybody, villains and main characters, because they all give their parts of the story. And that's what I love about character studies. It's not just focused on 1 or 2 people. It's basically trying to build an entire world, and that's one great big merit I can give to Stillwater. But with that being said, contrasting how they made the trailers and how they made Stillwater perceived as, and with it being what it actually is, and it being a slow burn character study, put those together and you're going to kind of be disappointed if you don't go into this cold, and or if you don't like slow character dramas. For me, I was a little bit let down because of the trailer, but above all, I love character dramas, I love character studies, And I also absolutely love when films are set in different countries and it's not just spoken English. I love that at least half of this film is foreign languages, not just English. And that really makes you feel like you're in a lived-in world. And I do love that aspect about this film. And the writing itself is superb. And honestly, I love this film, but it's not perfect in that basically how they marketed it. I feel as though if you do enjoy character dramas and slow thrillers, you'll probably even rate this higher than I will. But my rating is still going to be pretty damn high. So for me, for Stillwater, I have to give Stillwater a personal number and rating of 9 out of 10. Thank you.